Today I'm going to talk about why I use less expensive camera equipment. What's going on, everyone? My name is Bradley Hughes. I'm a photographer. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and you can like my Facebook page, Eighth Note Photography, and also check out my website, eighthnotphotography.com. All right, let's jump into this. Okay, so the reason why I use a lot of less expensive camera equipment is because I'm on a tight budget. I am a low-budget photographer. I cannot afford the $1,000 or $3,000 lenses or mics or really anything. So right now, but one day I will be able to, but for right now I don't. So that's why I use a lot of less expensive camera equipment. So I have two lenses in front of me right now. One is the 18 to 55 millimeter lens by Canon, and the other is a Vivitar Series 1 85 millimeter prime lens. So I'm going to explain to you the 18 to 55 millimeter lens and how that's actually helped me in some shoots. Okay, so with the 18 to 55 millimeter lens, I mainly use that for wide angle purposes. So such as if I'm in a small room and I need to get 3 to 4 people in one shot, I'll use that. So I'll show you a picture like this one. Okay, so this is a shoot I had done maybe a couple weeks ago, and this deals with sorority, and they're trying to do a college life kind of shoot. So they're sitting on a couch, and I'm literally 3 feet in front of them. So I'm trying to get them all in there. So I put it on the 18 millimeter zoom, and it got them all in there, and I took the picture. Now, like I said, this is a very less expensive type lens. So it still get good quality. I mean, it's not the perfect quality, but it gets the job done. And the person's actually using this on their site right now. So it just shows that it can happen. Now, this photo, same thing. They're at a table. They're working on homework or whatever, and I'm literally standing at the wall that's right by the table, and I put the same thing, 18 millimeter zoom, put it all the way to 18, and it got them all in there. I was able to adjust, and my standing, I had to like kind of crouch down a little bit, but anyway, I got them all in, and there it is, and that's how the photo goes. So it shows that less expensive lenses can do very well, as much as maybe $1,000 lens, maybe not the same quality, but it does get the job done. Okay, so next I want to talk about the Vivitar Series 1 85 millimeter prime lens. Now, if you don't know what a prime lens means it cannot zoom in or zoom out. It's fixed on that certain millimeter range. So this is an 85, so it's stuck or fixed at the 85 millimeter range. So anyone that's within 85 millimeters from me, and I can focus on them, and they will look pretty much crisp, clear, or whatever, or just very sharp. The image will look very sharp. I use that mainly for headshots or waist-up shots, kind of like these photos here with my family, and my sister, and my dad, and all of them, and I use that very lens. Now, this lens is a fully manual lens. Basically, that means there's no automatic feature on it, so it cannot auto-focus, and it cannot auto-zoom because it's a prime lens, so it doesn't zoom anyway. And also, I have to adjust the f-stop on the actual lens itself instead of the camera, because most lenses will you change the f-stop on the camera, but I have to change the f-stop on the actual lens. But it still gets the job done. As you can see, it's in my studio, and it still has great picture and great picture quality. And I'm really proud of these lenses, and it has boosted up my portfolio big time. People have seen it. People are actually asking me for gigs. So that's why using inexpensive lenses is not that big of a deal, and I wouldn't panic too much or get all upset if you have to use it, especially if you're starting out. I really recommend starting out with less expensive lenses, getting used to what shots you want and everything else. Okay, so I know that was short and to the point. This is just part one of a plethora of other inexpensive camera equipment I do own. So I own a couple more lenses, actually, yeah, 2 more lenses, and backdrops, lights, all that. So this is just part one. I made this video to explain why I use inexpensive equipment, and also to show that you can still have great quality even though you may not have the high-end stuff that all these companies provide, and you may not have the same gear as another maybe top-notch photographer may have, but you can do the same kind of thing. So that was the point of making this video, and to encourage other people. So if you're just starting out in photography, I do recommend start out with something really inexpensive. Get used to using a DSLR. Really, I wouldn't say cheap, but just really inexpensive, that you can get used to changing the ISOs, you can get used to changing shutter speeds and the f-stops and all that, and just learn camera work and learn angles and learn different lenses and how this lens works, how manual lenses work. So you can always have that skill for that just-in-case moment where you have an expensive camera and you may drop it in your studio and it shatters. Well, all you guys is one cheap one that you can still use or buy real quick offhand and just put it on. Bam, you can still keep the shoot going without a hitch, basically. So with all that said, I'm Bradley Hughes. This is Eighth Note Photography. I'll catch you guys later.